Hello everyone, I80386SX, and welcome back to Vintage Computer Repair. What you are staring at today is the Compaq Armada 1580 DMT. This is a part 3 video, unofficially. Now, who knows, maybe I might officially name it that, I don't know. That's not important right now. But anywho, there are a couple more things I need to do to this machine to get it back to anywhere near factory condition, or restorable, whatever you want to call it. The main one, if you watch the videos, is the screen. The screen has some imperfections in it. I was fortunately able to find a replacement for $20-some. Took a while to get it shipped here, but that is not the fault of the seller. There's also something, if you watch the second video, I had trouble with the memory. And I thought, what I thought it wasn't at all. So we're not going to keep you in any suspense for 1 second longer. Let's open this machine up, and I shall show. It is now correctly reading 80 megs of RAM. We'll go in the BIOS and we'll show you here that there is no magic tricks involved whatsoever. And I think it's view system information. And you can see the 3-4 major areas of defect. Alright, it's thinking about it. It's still trying to read the storage. I know this took a while on a lot of my previous attempts, but I am not sure if it's still supposed to do that or what we are exactly going to have to wait for here. Come on, we know storage. Probably doesn't like the fact that this is a non-compact hard drive. I also do have the CD drive open, so I'm wondering if it's having a fit with that, so we'll shut that up and see if it moves on from there. Okay. Oh, there we go. I don't know if it was just coincidence, but I will take it either way. So we'll go down to memory. And now you notice we have 16 in 64 like we're supposed to have. And I'll show you. It was something so stupid simple. I wish that I would have thought of it myself, but thank you to those that actually did tell me the right direction to go in. The BIOS is what is different here. In plain English, I had to install the latest BIOS for this machine. It originally had a BIOS from 1997 on here, which did not fare well with 64 megabyte chips. So that was something stupid simple, and I don't know, that feel a little bit stupid for not thinking of that, but either way, again, I think the gentleman that helped me or suggested this. And funny thing is, he's actually only an hour away from me. So that was a nice little in your own backyard type situation. But anywho, so we are now I think, beat this horse to death. We got the 80 megabytes of RAM like we wanted. We don't have defective RAM. The company I got the memory module from was very nice. And understanding is like, well, what's your exact model? We'll go see what we can do. And then shortly after we found got the idea to put the BIOS upgrade on there, which I was able to get through a ProtoWeb, and now also available. There is a repository for Compaq portables made up to 1998, so it will be up there as well. How to get to that is in my YouTube channel, and I will throw that in the description if so needed. So now the next thing I want to do, I need to find another piece of media here. So with the magic of video editing, I will go on to the next step right away while I go search for the missing piece that will make this whole thing tick. Alright, so we found the missing piece, and that is now in the computer. Now for you married folks out there, you probably hear about it all the time. Oh, I can't remember to go pay this bill, or go get the oil change in the car, or you forgot to take out the trash. But you can remember some football fact from 1965, or some useless trivia from the 80s. Well, I'm not quite that bad, but I did remember one tidbit about this machine correctly from 2004. Why 2004? Because my first laptop was purchased in 2004, and it was a Compaq Armada 1571 DM. The BIOS upgrade that I did unlocked something. We take it for granted today. We don't really even care today, but it's good that I remembered something from 2004. I told you, I knew these things could boot from a disk. You remember that I said in the first video, if you don't, that's okay, that I thought these things booted from disk. I knew my first one did. I just knew it. So, happiness there. So we'll let it boot to the disk, and then we'll go on to the final tour of our video here. No problem. So, alright, so next that we're going to do something about this screen. Because those black splotches are annoying. First thing we do, you always disconnect any power sources, no matter if you think they're paperweights. We're going to replace the screen in this thing next. So you'll get a coincidental tour of the machine. I had this apart once before to get the make and model of this screen. It is a Toshiba something. We'll find out soon enough. In fact, I can actually open the box and make sure. My luck is they probably didn't send me this at all, so I probably should go open this before I go any further with this video. UPS kind of made an error on this one. Actually, before I tear this thing too far apart, with all the trouble I'm having with shipping, particularly in the country of Ireland, but they're rejecting everything in their children because their computers can't handle custom forms. It says do not use this box for UPS ground. This particular seller did, and well, the box got to me anyway. So I'm surprised that UPS was a little bit more laxed on that. For the case of this video, I'm glad they were. And we know that definitely the hand post, which is the postal service used in Ireland, is not running UPS, or otherwise that would have been shipped back. If you're on my personal Facebook page, you probably heard me to death on that subject and post, and how frustrated I am with them at the moment. And it's actually shipped in a nice little box, so I am so far so good. And that is out. It is says it is a 12.1 inch Toshiba SVGA panel. It looks like a box that you would come with a textbook. So let's get this puppy open and let's make sure it's the right one. I'm feeling optimistic at this point. I think alternatively I could have bought this screen for, shoot, I think it was like 8 times the price over in China. To be honest, if that was my only option, I would have left the annoyance on there. But for $25, I decided to take a gamble. And this one was also in Florida. Very nice packaging. And this is a made in Japan Toshiba. And that is the model number of the screen. It looks correct. And it doesn't look like that there's any defects from what I can tell. So let's get into this. So first thing is first, there are 4 rubber, 1, 2, and I suppose I should put the camera on there. That's part of the reason why we got the screen that you can't see off to the side. Okay, if I can zoom this out a little bit. Yep, so now we can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get those off. I usually use a small flat blade screwdriver, and those do usually pop up. So we will do that. And always make sure that any power to the machine is disconnected, even if the battery is a paperweight. You never know. Maybe just enough of a jolt in there to fry something if it gets shorted out. Not likely, but again, good practice. And I don't do it nearly enough. It's always a good thing. Alright, so those are off. They came off real easy. You need a T8 Torx bit to get those 4 screws off. And find somewhere safe to put them as always. So there will be more than the 4. And the bottom one looks like it's silver on this model. I'm not sure if the previous owners of this machine got to it before I did and decided to put random colored screws in places, or if this is a factory configuration. But either way, black ones come right out. The silver ones are sunken in there. Yep, that almost did it. Probably not the best way to do this, but one fell out. They look like about the same length. And probably not the best way to do that, but well, too late now. The LCD itself in this machine is getting replaced, so I ain't worried. Now, we just gotta find a place that's gonna come loose here. Do bear in mind you have these clips here that keep the screen intact, or locked when the machine is closed, so you don't want to break those. Although you can 3D print them if you have to. I had a buddy of mine that recently got the latch that controls these things. He got those reprinted for his 5000. And there are LTE Elite clips in existence these days, so, or at least the blueprints to them. Gotta find a place and I just gotta go for it here. And some plastic spludger tools might be a better option here if you have them on hand. This one just does not want to. I got it off once before, so I know it's possible to do. And now we're starting to get somewhere. I did kind of make a mistake on this, but it did work itself out. So far. Oh, this side is brutal. Alright, there we go. Now we got that side to mostly come out. Yep, I made a mistake, but I think that's repairable. Nothing a little super glue can't fix. It did crack the bezel a little bit. That part was very stubborn. Life goes on. So, let's tip this thing back on its proper normal configuration. And let's get the other 4 screws off. And it looks like that this screen here, I don't know if it's a product of all the Toshiba screens, but it almost looks like there's a glue on top of this panel. I wonder if they were anticipating a possible screen tunneling issue. I've never personally heard of screen tunneling on a color LCD. If you have, love to hear from you. This is even, the screw colors are even weirder on this one. I have 3 blacks and 1 silver. I don't know what that's about, but not that I don't think it really matters, but and that should be all of them, so the panel should pop up. And there are 2 places you have to concern yourself with at this point, maybe potentially more. First of all, you want to get this out of the way, because you'll need to remove this right here. This powers the inverter. And then secondly, this one's going to be probably a doozy, is the connector to the screen itself has to come off, which is right here. And I don't know if it just pulls off or there's some other magic I have to work, and it just pulls right off. Okay, so that's out of the way. And do double check, make sure the screens aren't identical or at least compatible enough where you can make it work. And the panel configuration looks pretty much identical. The front one is the defective one with the black splotches. And same model number across the board. So let us continue on with our little descent into madness. So installation pretty much reverse of removal. No secrets. So let's get this in. May have to move the screen around a little bit to get this to exactly fit. There we go. No sweat, right? No problem. Next, remove the power cord that was going to potentially lose all my screws. We want to prop the screen in enough to the point where we can get the power for the inverter in. Be very careful with these cords. If you break them, you will not likely find replacements. I don't even know what that one does. Might be part of the inverter assembly, or might be a ground. I am not sure. And make sure those cables tuck exactly where they have before you decide to do a suicide mission like this. Now, actually, so far this is not going too bad at all, so. We'll get this screw in. Good. That screw is in. Same drill over on the left side. You'll have to get another screw in there. Imagine these slightly shorter ones are probably ones we want to use here. And then the same on the top. Which I know is out of the camera right now, but I think you can live without seeing me screwing a screw poorly. It's probably a good thing you're not seeing it right now, as I am fighting this screw. I'm going to lay the screen down slightly flatter so I can actually control what I'm doing. Last but not least, the upper right. Actually, I think that's a slightly longer screw, so I'm going to not put that one in there. Yeah, that one's slightly longer than the other, so we'll use the slightly shorter screw, because I don't think we need to go overkill here. And sure enough, something's got to fight me, because the rules of physics, Murphy's Law, I'm not sure which one it is. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So, that is pretty much in now. So let's give this thing the old college try, and let's see if it looks better, worse, the same. Try not to put any dog hair into the machine. There we go. So far, so good. Let's see if I can zoom in and get all this fun into the screen. See if we can turn off the background light. Oh, it is asking me to boot from the disk. We are going to go select no, of course. May have a reflection of another background light. I think the background light is making things look worse than what they actually are, but as you can tell, there are no really bad pixels like we had before. This corner here does look darker on camera than over here. I rest assure you it is uniform in brightness like it's supposed to be. That's just the way I have the camera angled at it. I don't know if I'll paint it in a better light or not, but see if I can turn it at the right angle, and yes, it looks a lot better than what we had in there before. So I think we have a winner here. The lines that you may see are not from the screen itself. That is the camera that's doing that. So at this point, let's put this thing the rest of the way back together and let's see what we can do. I'll probably do a little bit of magic of video editing as I did crack the bezel. It might be just a tape job. It might be something a little bit more involved. I'm not sure. But what happened was I did not account for these little tabs, and I think that one was on there in such a strong way that it broke the bezel. And yeah, fun time. So always be careful when you're dealing with plastics, especially of this vintage, because things like that do happen and professional bad examples get exposed to the world. So magic of video editing. I'll see what I can do about correcting this problem, and then we'll put this thing back together. A little bit of bad news. I was not able to locate any super glue. Chances are I think I left my one tube I had at the other office. So we're going to tape this the best we can. I have found some glass adhesive, which is about as effective as matches in space at the moment, so that's what we're going to have to deal with. So now, it may be a good idea to lay this thing flat, like so, as flat as it'll comfortably go. Don't force anything. Make sure that these cables are in the areas they are supposed to go. I think that should be okay. That one keeps jumping out at me. I don't know why, but if we put this thing together carefully, quickly, it should be okay. And we'll just have to watch this side. And I think I see what went wrong here. That's supposed to pop off. So we're going to do that right now before I break more stuff. That one was already broken. Or I did it, I'm not sure. I don't know. Such fragile little things, aren't they? Yeah, I think that's pretty much toast. Yeah, this thing is really toast, so it's gonna be, that's just sitting in there loose, so I think that was pretty much broke anyway. And now comes the final leg of our tour. Put the rest of the screws back in. And I am almost going to say at this point that somebody had their hands on this before I did, because I would have left the screw colors all the same. And even if they were different, I'd at least try to be a little bit more uniform, unless there's like a ground or something, then maybe I could justify the different random colored screws, but to this point, I simply can't. Rubber thingies back where they're supposed to go. Not a perfect solution by any means, but the fatter ones go in the top, the skinnier ones go into the bottom. And keep in mind placement here, so it's not perfect, but make sure all the plastic is snapped back in to the best of its capability, and it looks like we got her. And at this point you can plug the machine back in and test her out one more time. Everything's looking good. I don't know how good the battery is on this thing, but we'll slide her in anyway. Pardon my reach. May have a, I don't know if that's a pixel or if that's dust. Okay, that one was dust. Okay. No dead pixels. And there you have it. You have a defect-free, at least defect-free in the terms of no obvious defects. Maybe a dead pixel we can't see right now, but a huge improvement over what was in there. And again, if you are looking for this screen, it is this Toshiba LTM 12C268E. Now, this particular one did not have any Compaq part numbers on it, so I can't help you in that regard. So who knows, maybe the screen was replaced once before even I got my hands on it. But so, not important for this video. But anywho, I think that's going to pretty much wrap up my restoration efforts on this particular computer. Now I'm going to super glue this back together as soon as I make it to a store of some kind and get that done. If I really wanted to be picky, I'd go ask somebody to 3D print these things and these things. I'm drawing a complete blank of what they're called at the moment, but trust me, I know what they're called. They keep the screen secure when the machine is closed. But anywho, huge improvement over what we have. If we're gonna go do a cumulative effort here, keyboard was shot. I think it was constantly stuck in F5 because no matter what I would do, I would have machines booting in safe mode, and I couldn't even get into the BIOS utilities without some kind of error. The battery and the floppy were fine. I replaced the hard drive because the original listing did say it was bad, and at the time it was booting into safe mode directly no matter what I would do. Didn't know about the keyboard thing, but oh well. Life goes on. But obviously the screen was replaced. We upped the RAM to 80 megabytes and we did a BIOS update. So probably way too much time spent on this, but hey, got a lot nicer machine. I have a fun little project for it. Call it the bar bed, if you will. It's another hunch of 2006, if you will, that I hope to test out. Just to have a little fun with this piece of nostalgia here. And probably makes a pretty good DOS gaming machine too. It's got pretty respectable size speakers. This one is not have a USB port on it, but it is what it is. We have ways around that. So, if you have any questions, comments, or constructive criticism, you are more welcome to leave them in the comments section. Otherwise, this is going to be it for this Armada for now, at least for the restoration piece of it. So, as always, thank you for watching.